And of course, we'll move on now to the Progressive Governors Forum, which is asking Nigerians not to jump to conclusions on the allegations of corruption against the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, as investigations are still ongoing. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, who is the chairperson of the forum, is urging Nigerians to wait till the end of the ongoing investigations before concluding on the allegations. He insists that the case against the minister is just an allegation. And to have another look at this development, I have with me in the studio Public Policy Analyst Chibuzor Okereke. Thank you so much, Chibuzor, for joining us.
Good evening.
Yeah, I mean, this investigation is taking different dimension. We've seen all the accused persons going to the EFCC, their passports being seized. But here is a counsel from the Progressive Governors saying that these are mere allegations. Does it look like they are trying to whitewash Betta Edu, or indeed they are trying to help prove her innocence?
Well, I think that what is happening is very unfortunate. We're looking at a young woman who is very pragmatic, who is bold, who is productive, who has been able to demonstrate as a poster lady for this administration. You know, at the inception of the administration, especially when the ministers were appointed, I was on several stations, you know, on policy setting, agenda, and what have you. And this particular ministry, you know, in the last administration, the whole Nigerians wanted us to open it up, understand the National Social Register, and what have you. And we say that we have to look out for ministers that will be able to give us a roadmap in 2 to 3 months. And this particular minister did it in just a week, saying that we're going to audit the National Social Register. She even took it to the Federal Executive Council, and even at the state level, everybody agreed we need to conduct an audit of the register and ensure that the people that are supposed to be there are there. She also said that they are going to make sure that the Renewed Hope grant for vulnerable people are delivered to them. And she even put a figure that by 2024 or so, they are going to have over 72 million Nigerians reached. I mean, that was bold, that was courageous, that was somebody actually living out the Renewed Hope agenda, and it's quite unfortunate. And I've been able to track. I've asked myself, I've decided that I'm going to be, even if I'm the lone voice on this particular matter, because there is an issue when we discredit people that have demonstrated leadership and commitment to public service. We may be doing our nation a very big danger.
Yeah, but the investigations are ongoing.
No, there's something I wanted to say.
There are facts also.
If the documents in the public domain are the only charges or misconduct that the Honorable Minister is being accused of, I'm sorry to say this, there are non-issues there.
And what do you mean by that?
That particular memo that was released relied on the federal government financial regulation number 713 that talks about individuals should not deposit public funds in government accounts, but be part of it says government funds should not be paid to private account. And this is a regulation for 2009. At the time, we have not implemented TSA. Nobody has drawn attention to the financial regulation number 1402 that talks about advances for disbursement for special projects, that actually project managers and project accountants can receive those monies and disburse them. If the argument is that these financial rules or regulation need to be reviewed, that it doesn't look okay, then the argument will make sense. Not that there is an infraction. I can tell you today, even if you go to the office of the permanent secretary in Villa, any ministry you think about, any agency or government, you cannot operate the TSA account dealing with your operational costs, dealing with other logistics without having project accountants being credited. Yeah, and there's a difference between an officer who has official responsibility to take charge and disburse fund and a private individual completely, except we are saying that the 585 million credited to the project manager or project accountant were not disbursed to the beneficiaries.
Yeah, actually, the ministry is a peculiar one because from my discovery also, I've discovered that a lot of Nigerians who are supposed to be paid some of those monies do not really have accounts. So they were meant to have been paid in cash. But wasn't there a particular regulation that stated all of this? And these regulations are the ones being made known by including people from the humanitarian ministry, to say that this is actually how we have been doing it, and this is how we're told, even if we were to hand out cash. Because these narratives are changing by the day, and with the APC governors coming into it, it's getting confusing.
In this country, our vice president, the former vice president, we saw him in the market distributing trader money and what have you. That is why I say we are leaving the issue and trying to destroy somebody who has demonstrated leadership and courage. I tell you this, if what we have in the public is the so-called offense, I think that the people are after the president and not the ministry or the minister, because this is one ministry that I think about that is dealing with anything called renewed hope. If you have 130 million multidimensional Nigerians, where do you think we're going to go?
Yeah, but there are also contra allegations we've seen being peddled against Tunji Ojo. That look, some of these verification contracts that were signed off by Betta Edu were not executed, and that some of this verification, it looks like the companies just collected these monies and stayed in Abuja, and we don't have evidence. How can she escape those kind of
I'm surprised. How procurement process works, it's unfortunate to say that a minister signed off. You can never say that if you know how government works, because there is a director of procurement, there is a tenders board.
Yeah, but there are allegations that she sidestepped some of those people. She didn't go through the permanent secretary, through the director of finance.
All these are mere allegations.
Well,
because
you would have seen that
we don't have any evidence that maybe there is no procurement process that happened. And the procurement process is not a wishful thinking. It is something that is documented procedurally. And you're going to have the company embark on the whole process, have internal audit to do so. And if there is concrete evidence to this, then the people can bring it out. What is unfortunate, you know why I'm saying this? We've got this minister who has demonstrated tremendous courage and commitment to the administration. If the president talked about doing a monitor and evaluation retreat in this first quarter, if that happens, this minister would have been one of those people they will give standing ovation for. Yeah, in just few months, she has been to over 15 states in the north, down to the ordinary people. And she dresses like them. They are excited receiving her.
Well,
going to other
that's politics.
Apart from, no.
You're going political.
There is something about identity. I'm speaking professionally to say, because I've observed her from the side. Right? I don't have any, she's not my sister or my brother or what have you. What I am saying is that I have observed somebody distinguish herself, and a trend we are using to gain traffic online by, doing a cruise on personality and crashing people's image and trying not to allow them to do what they're supposed to do for the country. Why? We are the ones saying that the young people should come and take over.
But young people have to also follow the rules.
If there is evidence that young people have, committed infractions, the laws are there to deal with it.
Oh, okay.
What bothered me is that we have a huge banner shouting, oh, this minister asks that the money should be credited to the private citizens.
Yeah, I mean, it's public funds, and the public has a right to actually vent the anger. But the reason why I actually brought you here,
stop other people from airing their views.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we've always been balanced about it here at Arise News. But the reason why I brought you here is about the APC governors. Now, the Progressive Governors Forum are coming into this and asking Nigerians to take a second look at it, that these are mere allegations, investigations must be allowed to get to, fruition and all of that. Doesn't it look like APC is beginning to look at this thing from a political angle rather than from the national interest angle?
I don't think it's from a political angle. The person we're talking about was a former national woman leader of the APC, who was all over the place, during the campaign. Also, the president himself has suspended her and asked that investigation be conducted. So what is political about saying what the Constitution have already said, that you are innocent until you're proven guilty? That is simply what the Progressive Governors Forum has done. And don't forget that we are in a political arena. There are also other underhands and undercurrents that could be.
What are those undercurrents?
Anybody that if you are in a political environment, genuine citizens who are concerned that humanitarian affairs is a strategic ministry that can help.
Very strategic. You and I know how the MBS says we have 133 million poor Nigerians. So if the ministry is supposed to cater to them and it looks like something is going wrong there,
absolutely, there should be a cleanup. But that cleanup should not be turned to a political war to drag somebody down, especially when what we have publicly is the only thing they have been able to advance. I tell you this, if there is anything indicting under our law or incriminating that this minister, had committed, I'll be the first to come here to tell you I disassociate myself with it. But if this is what we have in the public domain, is what they are discussing, is happening in every ministry. So it's a question of us saying, let us call for reform, that this TSA is making it impossible for certain transactions to be conducted.
Just before I let you go.
The minister didn't write that financial regulation, 14002, subsection, III of it, that deals with special project and other. But let me also say this.
Very quickly,
the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry cannot afford to go one day without leadership. That's why President
Tinubu has already asked that the permanent secretary for the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry should take charge at the moment. Very quickly, in 30 seconds before I let you go, do you foresee Betta Edu coming back to that position? Because you seem so optimistic, despite what the public is saying.
No, which public? The public I know today, Nigerians, even on social media, are saying this is political war, this is a conspiracy, they just set a trap.
Interesting times ahead.
So if you go to the public, there are many publics, right? Even the theory of two publics is this. But I expect that she should come back because she's pragmatic, she's got the energy, and we saw her on top of her games. And don't forget that they've been calling her out for many things, and I think that we should allow young people show their energy and capacity to move our country forward.
All right, Chibuzor Okereke, we must thank you immensely for helping us to provide a huge perspective to this, because like I said earlier on, it's beginning to take a political dimension if all the APC governors in the country can say, look, just take a second look at this issue once again.